everyone. This is Traci Fenton, founder and CEO of WorldBlu. I am so happy to have you with us today for our very exciting webinar entitled Inside Story: How We Built an $8 billion freedom-centered company culture at Grupo Elektra. We've got everyone coming in now. We're going to let everyone come on in from all over the world. We're so excited to have you here. Why don't you let me know in chat where you're located? I love to know where you're coming in from. So let me know in chat, where are you based in the world? Of course, we have a lot of you in Mexico. Let me know where in Mexico you are.
Oh,
Ah, we've got someone coming in from Israel. We've got Mexico City. Let us know. We know, obviously, Mexico is one of my favorite places on earth, I have to say. So we are so excited to have you with us today. Again, I'm Traci Fenton, founder and CEO of WorldBlu. We're so excited to have you joining us today on this Wednesday, on this hump day, with my special guest, Adriana de la Punta. I am so bad at saying her last name, but I know she's forgiving me. Who is our head of people and culture at Grupo Elektra, and we're going to hear from her in a moment. So just letting many people into the webinar now. And again, it's so great to see you here. Please let us know where you're based. Love Mexico City, have been there many, many times, been all over Mexico myself. I am based here in West Palm Beach, Florida. So it's a beautiful day. We've had a lot of rain lately, and it's been kind of cold for us, but who can complain? So again, I'm Traci Fenton, founder and CEO of WorldBlu. We're so excited to have you joining us for our live webinar. It doesn't get any better than that. Live, so exciting, for Inside Story: How We Built an $8 billion freedom-centered company culture at Grupo Elektra. My special guest today is Adriana de la Punta, head of people and culture at Grupo Elektra. I know some of you coming on camera. Go ahead and stay off camera if you would. Please stay off camera. And we're going to get started here in just 1 minute. Let us know where you are. Let us know where you are in the world joining us from. We're so very excited to have you here with us. All right, let's get started. Again, hello, I am Traci Fenton, founder and CEO of WorldBlu. We're so honored and delighted to have you joining us today for our live webinar entitled Inside Story: How We Built an $8 billion freedom-centered company culture at Grupo Elektra, one of the most exciting and dynamic companies in all of Mexico, if not all of the world. And with me today is my special guest, Adriana de la Punta, head of people and culture at Grupo Elektra, which is also a WorldBlu certified freedom-centered company. So great to have this beautiful lady with me. Thank you, Adriana, for being on. And let's get started. All right, here's our plan for our time together. I'm going to talk for the first about 10 or 15 minutes and talk all about what is a freedom-centered leadership style. What is WorldBlu? What is it that we do? What is all of this? And then I'm going to turn it over to Adriana, who's going to give us an incredible inside look at how they have transformed Grupo Elektra into a thriving freedom center culture. I'm going to share 3 steps, and she's going to share 5 secrets with you today. So we look forward to getting into that. So what's WorldBlu? Well, I founded WorldBlu, if you can believe it, 27 years ago next month. So I've been at this for a really long time. And what WorldBlu does is we are a global leadership membership, and we teach leaders all over the world, in 100 countries now worldwide, how to lead on the principles of freedom and organizational democracy rather than fear and control. Well, how did I come to start this? How did all this happen? Well, I grew up in Iowa, and I was one of those kind of weird kids that during elementary school, when I was about 9, 10 years old, I would go out on the back recess field when everyone was having recess, and I would go by the back fence, and I would counsel one-on-one my fellow 10-year-olds on how to live their full potential for their life. Everyone else would be off, playing dodgeball or swinging from the bars. And I was sitting there saying, hey, you can achieve your fullest potential. And I always knew from a very young age that my purpose in life was to help people realize their fullest potential, but I didn't know how this was all going to materialize. And the turning point moment came when I was in my last year of college, and I was asked to be the director of our student affairs conference. And I said to the student team, all right, let's come up with a topic that's really consciousness raising and outside the box and forward thinking and just going to be so exciting for this incredible conference that we're going to do for the world. And I had them go away and come up, spend months researching and figuring out what our big topic was going to be. And several months later, they came back and we all met in the college president's boardroom. We took ourselves very seriously. And I said, all right, what do we think the topic should be? And they said, Traci, we think the topic should be democracy. And my jaw kind of fell on the ground. And I thought, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. My concept of democracy was, I'm sorry to say it, but this is how it went through my 21-year-old brain, was democracy is old white guys in politics in Washington, D.C. That's what I thought democracy was. And so they started to talk with me and they said, no, actually, democracy is a style of leadership. It's leading in a way that gives power to people to realize their fullest potential. And it's not about government. It's actually a style of leadership you can apply in every area of your life. You can apply it in business. You can apply it in education. You can apply it in how we run our communities. You can apply it in churches. You can apply it everywhere. And something in me started to shift in my thinking. And I thought, wait a second, if I really believe in helping people realize their fullest potential in life, you can only do that in an environment of freedom and possibility. You cannot do that in an environment of fear and control. And that was the click moment for me. And so we went on and we created the conference and did it all on freedom and democracy. And I spent my senior year starting WorldBlu. So I founded WorldBlu when I was 21 years old. And we have just had the most incredible time building this company and transforming companies and working with top leaders all over the world. All right, we've worked with incredible companies you will have heard of, including Grupo Elektra, but WD-40, who doesn't know WD-40? Zappos, Pandora, Mind Valley, GE Aviation, HCL Technologies, Groupon, Achievers, Glassdoor. These have all been wonderful companies that we have worked with through the years, helping them lead and build and design their companies on principles of freedom rather than fear and control. We've been very blessed to have received many awards and recognition for what we do here at WorldBlu. We received, by Inc. magazine, recognized us as one of the top 50 leadership innovators in the country. I was blessed to receive the World Changing Woman in Conscious Business Award. I've been recognized as one of the top 100 coaches in the world. We received the award for outstanding results in shaping the world. And we even received the equivalent of the Oscars Award in leadership. It's called the Thinkers 50 Radar Award. So we've been very, very blessed and honored to receive the recognition for what we do. So at the core, here's what we believe. We believe that hierarchical leadership and hierarchical command and control, top-down organizational design does not work. It's very ineffective. And it does not give power to the people. The whole paradigm of an angry boss at the top shouting to the poor, miserable employee below, we want to eradicate that once and for all. So what is a hierarchical, fear-based leadership style? Why does it so consistently fall short? Well, excuse me while I take a sip of water. It fails to meaningfully engage employees, which is a big problem as I choke on dust. It dumbs down employees and creates a whole bunch of drama, like my coughing. It creates higher turnover. What else does it do? Let me move my face here. It slows problem solving and reaction to change down. And it's very ineffective and bureaucratic. And we have seen that time and time again, that hierarchical style, it slows everything down and it makes people absolutely miserable at work. But a freedom-centered style excels. Why does it excel? Because it means higher employee engagement and meaning in the workplace. It develops informed employees who work well together. It attracts and retains top talent. It decentralizes decision-making to respond quickly to market changes, and it's highly efficient and agile. It just creates the kind of place everyone loves. So a freedom-centered democratic style of leadership and organizational design, rather than fear-based, hierarchical, command and control style of leadership and organizational design, is what creates the optimal conditions for growth while creating a culture people love. And what we found is this isn't just a nice idea. Independent research shows that companies that practice freedom at work average 700% greater revenue growth over a 3-year period compared to the S&P 500. So there are massive bottom line effects to working this way. But how does it work? Well, we've seen it with companies all over the world. In fact, one of our favorite companies we've worked with is there in Mexico. It's called Nearsoft and Cora. And in our work with them and them becoming a member of WorldBlu and transitioning from that hierarchical style to a democratic style, they grew 12 times X with our freedom at work approach. So how do you do it? Well, let me take a sip of water and we're going to get into it. The first thing is you can shift from organizational hierarchy to organizational democracy without losing control. A lot of times people say, oh my gosh, I love this idea, Traci, but you're telling me I'm going to lose control. The inmates are going to run the asylum. It's going to be Lord of the Flies. No, that's absolutely not the case, and we're going to show you how. Second, you can successfully transform your team from broken to a breakthrough. Even if you feel like you have no idea where to start, you don't have to be a CEO to put these ideas into implementation. You can do this in your own team as well. You can even do this in your own family. And third step we're going to go through is you can bring your team along with you, even if they think it will never work. All right, so let's take a look at that first step. You can shift from organizational hierarchy to organizational democracy without losing control. How do you do it? Okay. Well, you have to understand there's 3 steps, there's 3 pillars. And it took me a long time to figure this out. When I first started doing this work, I thought, oh, to build a great culture, you just go in and implement all these great culture things. But that's actually not how it works. You have to have the right mindset, the right leadership approach, and the right way of doing organizational design. You've got to have a mindset of freedom rather than fear, a leadership style of freedom rather than fear. And then you have to design your organization, not on that command and control approach, but using the 10 principles. What we've identified are the 10 principles of organizational democracy. Now, when I say organizational democracy, I'm not saying everybody votes on everything. Voting is a way of making a decision. And in a democratic organization, there's actually 3 major ways to democratically make decisions: voting, consents, and consensus. So what we're talking about is how you take those 10 principles of organizational democracy and actually implement them into systems and processes within your organization. So I did all of my undergraduate and graduate research on this and found that there are these 10 principles that actually create the systems of democracy, like individual and collective, transparency, accountability, choice, fairness and dignity, integrity, and decentralizing power. You have to have all 10. You have to put all 10 in place in order to truly have a thriving, non-hierarchical, and more democratic organizational design. That's how we have identified the most freedom-centered companies in the world, such as Grupo Elektra. They all take our very rigorous assessment that measures how well they are practicing these 10 principles at an individual leadership and systems and process level. And that's exactly what Adriana is going to get more into in just a moment. You can read, by the way, you can read all about it in my new book, Freedom at Work, if you want to know more. And it is coming out in Spanish later this year, thanks to Adriana and her wonderful team. So stay tuned on that. All right, so what's the next step we're going to look at to build truly freedom-centered cultures? All right, step 2 is you can successfully transform your team from broken to a breakthrough even if you feel like you have no idea where to start. So, where the heck do you start? Well, the biggest thing you have to identify when you're making that shift from a fear based culture to a freedom center culture is you have to understand that at the core of all of it is actually fear. There's lots of symptoms, right? You may see stress, you may see anger in the workplace, you may see unfairness in the workplace, you may see all the kinds of toxic and dysfunctional behavior we see in workplaces. But really, at the core of it is fear. The average person thinks 60,000 thoughts a day, 60,000 thoughts. But 80% of those thoughts are negative and fear based. And 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts we thought before. So most of us are thinking in very fear based thought patterns day over day. And we have to get out of that. We have to address it. We can't go build amazing freedom center company cultures if we're thinking from a mindset of fear. So, how do we break through the fear? Well, here's what I've discovered. And this all started back when I was in my 20s. I called up one of my mentors and told her one day that I was so stressed out. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. And what she said to me was, Traci, I have just one question for you. I'm like, what? What's this one question? And she says, well, what would you do if you weren't afraid? How would you solve these problems? What would you do if you weren't afraid? Not what would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? That's a different question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? And the minute she said that to me, I just felt the stress and just everything just lift right off of me. And I thought, I know exactly what I would do if I weren't afraid. And I went and took action. And over the many, many years, as I've worked with CEOs and top leaders around the world, I love to ask them that question to help them think through a challenge and break through whatever fear is related to it. And I've created an entire system for how to do this. So we call it the power question practice. And there's 5 questions. And I invite you to think about a challenge you're facing. And I'm going to go through this fast, but you can read about it in my book and you can rewatch this webinar. But I want you to think of a challenge you're facing and put your own challenge through these 5 questions. Okay. I'm going to go through it fast, but I want you to think about it more on your own. And you can do this with a team. You can do this with your colleagues, with your employees. You can do this at home. It's life changing. So think about a challenge you're facing. And the first question you're going to ask is, what are you afraid of? What exactly at the core of it is it that you're afraid of? Oftentimes it's fear of failure. It's fear of what other people think of us. It's fear of not looking good in front of others. It's fear of other people's opinions. It's fear that we won't succeed. So really get at the root of what exactly is it that you're afraid of. The next question is, why are you afraid? Are you projecting into the future something you think may happen? Are you bringing the failures of the past, up and trying to use those to create roadblocks? So why are you afraid? Now, here comes the power question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? How would you solve that problem? What steps would you take? What conversations would you have if you weren't afraid? Now, obviously, I'm not talking about reckless fearlessness here. It's not, well, if I weren't afraid, I'd jump off a cliff and hopefully fly. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about really identifying where fear is creating roadblocks for you and breaking through to that other side. Now, 4th question is, how would you feel without the fear? I don't know about you, but when I'm in fear, I feel stressed out. I feel foggy. I usually have like a headache or something. But when I'm not afraid, I feel joyous. I feel buoyant. I feel energized. Way more energy which is, you can see, I get energized when I talk about this stuff. So that's how I would feel about the fear. Without the fear, how about you? And last, why is it okay to let the fear go? We say a lot in society, oh, let it go, let it go. It's a song by Frozen, let it go. But why is it okay to let the fear go? For me personally, I believe the universe is good. It's working in our favor, and I can trust that. So these are the 5 questions that really can help you shift through any fears you may have about going for it and leading this way and helping your team as well. This worked out really well with one of our WorldBlu members, a company called HCL Technologies. Their CEO was transitioning their company from a hierarchical command and control company based in India, but they're multinational, huge company, 150,000 employees, shifting them into a much more freedom-centered company. But they reached a point where they were having a big economic downturn. It was beyond their control. And if they did not figure out how to save $100 million, they were going to have to let people go. And so the CEO, Vineet Nair, easily could have said, do you know what? I'm just going to hunker down with my executive team. We're just going to fire a bunch of people. And that's just what it is, what's going to happen. And instead, what he said was, no, we're going to handle this democratically. He went out, he asked for people's input. He says, how can we save money? And he had over, I think it was over 300 ideas come in. They implemented 76 of those ideas. And instead of saving $100 million, they saved $260 million, and no one was laid off. So by him really acting not in fear and control, but opening up, being transparent and sharing, it made a huge impact on their company and it saved people's jobs. So that's the kind of impact acting from a mindset of freedom rather than fear can have on you and your business. All right, so let's go to the next step. Step 3, secret 3, you can bring your team along with you, even if they think it will never work, as long as you have the right systems and processes in place. All right, well, what do I mean by this? So how can we make the process bulletproof? The process of shifting from hierarchy to a much more decentralized, I'm not saying flat, but a much more decentralized and democratic structure. Well, the way you do it is using our Freedom at Work roadmap. And we've developed this, again, over almost 30 years of being in business, working with hundreds and hundreds of companies around the world. You have to create a benchmark, assess your company where it is. You have to train your leaders in the mindset and leadership skills to know how to lead with freedom over fear. And then you have to design your company on the right principles. So we use step 1 is our Freedom at Work scorecard that allows us to assess a company how it is and how it's doing on those 10 principles of democracy I mentioned earlier. We then have a Lead with Freedom program where we help leaders develop the skills of democratic leadership. And then we have a program that actually works with CEOs and their top team to develop democratic systems and processes that scale. 75% of your culture is actually going to be determined by the systems and processes that you have in place. So if you are trying to say, hey, I want to create this great freedom-centered culture, but you continue to do things in a very command and control way, that's like one wing of the bird flapping up, the other wing flapping down. You're just going to go in a death spiral. It's never going to work, right? So you got to have the right mindset, the right leadership skills, and then you must put the right systems and processes in place. And we have a program that has dozens and dozens of proven democratic systems and processes and how to put those into place. If you skip any of these steps or start at the wrong point in the process, you will not succeed, or I should say it's much, much harder to succeed. So you really do have to create that benchmark, train yourself and train your team in the right mindset and leadership skills, and then get those right systems and processes in place. So we saw this happen with DaVita. DaVita was a large Fortune 500 healthcare company based in Denver. Their whole story is in my book, Freedom at Work. But what happened was their CEO, Ken Theory, came in and he says, you know what? We're not going to run DaVita in this command and control hierarchy anymore. They were on the edge of failure. They were under investigation by the SEC. People were just jumping ship. And he says, no, he came in and he said, no, we are going to think of ourselves as a democratic community first and a company second. And he did all these things to implement new democratic systems and processes, town hall meetings, voting, voice of the village, all these things that gave power and decentralized power in a democratic way out to his people. He even did this really fun thing where he created a bridge and he invited people to walk over the bridge symbolically when they were ready to leave behind that old command and control way of working and become much more democratic in their leadership style and approach. And as a result, they transitioned from being at the edge of bankruptcy to now being a thriving $15 billion company with 52,000 employees worldwide. So we see this work. We've literally certified hundreds and hundreds of freedom-centered organizations worldwide. And now we're going to get to hear from one very soon. Again, let me recap the steps. You can shift from organizational hierarchy to organizational democracy without losing control with our three-step freedom at work leadership strategy, getting the right mindset, the right leadership, and the right organizational design in process. Step 2 is you can successfully transform your team from broken to a breakthrough, even if you feel like you have no idea where to start, by starting getting the mindset right and using our power question practice. And third, you can bring your team along with you and even make the process almost bulletproof if you use the Freedom at Work roadmap I just told you about and put the right systems and processes in place. Now, again, let me introduce to you the wonderful, the brilliant, the beautiful, the talented Adriana de la Puente, Head of People and Culture at Grupo Elektra in Mexico City. Also, we're very proud to say a WorldBlu certified Freedom Center company. I'm going to turn it over to her now, and she's going to share with you the 5 secrets to how they have transformed Grupo Elektra into something incredibly inspiring. All right, Adriana, over.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
Good.
It's
So wonderful to have you with us.
I'm still honored and sharing this webinar with you. And I want to thank all of you who are giving me your time. There are people from Israel, from Chile, Mexico. So thank you, because time is one of the precious and most valuable things someone can give it to you. And you're giving it to us, Tracy and me. So really, really, I'm thrilled to share some ideas with you and have this webinar all about. So thank you, Tracy, for handling me the presentation. So
Oh, welcome.
let's get a picture of who is Grupo Elektra for those who doesn't know. Who are we? Grupo Elektra is considered one of the biggest financial and retail corporations in Latin America, owned by Ricardo Salinas Pliego, one of the most influential businessmen in Mexico. We have 80,000 employees, 6,000 points of contact in Mexico, US, Guatemala, Honduras, and Panama. Retail stores, bank, motorcycle industry, loan services, and other businesses. Our points of contact are in all kinds of places: big cities, small towns, big towns, rural village, all of them with cultural differences and a very complex operation. So let me start by saying the situation in 2014, 10 years ago. Our situation was very unfortunate. We have high numbers of turnovers. Results weren't what we expected. Leadership was dictatorial, and people were driven by fear. As you say, that future was hopeless. And this way of running the business was only leading us to a huge, huge failure. We need to change our mindset. It was the most important thing, to change our mindset. So, you know what they're saying: little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems. The same in organizations. We needed to reinvent ourselves. So we decided to redirect our business by changing our priorities, right? I believe one of the most important changes was to prioritize the second P&L from the first P&L, from profits and losses to people and leadership. Everyone knows that the biggest asset for any company is and will always be their people. Not the products, not the stores, not the services, but people. Without people, you don't have a company. So we believe people makes a company successful. The other thing we did to change our mindset was to invert the pyramidal structure Tracy was talking about. You know, this pyramidal structure we flip it upside down and reframe that all the change of command should be at the service of the frontline people. The frontline employees are the most important in any organization. They are the ones who really makes the business be successful. I call it when the magic is done. You can say the money is made. The reality of your purpose comes true because of them, only because of them. Those instants are what we call valuable moments. When one of our employees is selling a television, a telephone with a customer, or giving a loan, opening an account, or maybe delivering a motorcycle, is when the business blooms and thrives. So we believe leadership needs to understand that they are at the service of their team, of the frontline people. So inverting the pyramid was really, really changing the mindset. And Traci didn't talk about this, but you say freedom needs mindset, leadership, and design. But it also needs a community of love and trust, what in the book you talk about as Ubuntu. I heard someone say to me once, you need two to make a baby, but you need a tribe to make it flourish. In Freedom at Work, your book, you explain Ubuntu as one of, I like this beautiful phrase. I can be my best only because you're at your best, and you can be your best because I am at my best, because we are one. How do you make the challenge was to make people feel the spirit of the company as we are one? So to change that mindset, I believe in Grupo Elektra, we think rituals were part of what I call the super glue of the culture. Rituals are adhesive for people's spirit and connection with the company. Human needs human connection. Rituals that make them feel they belong. Rituals that make people feel cherished and loved. Rituals that will help you write the story of your company. You know the bridge Traci was showing in the slide? That's some ritual. I feel rituals will build the strength of your company and makes employees feel part of a big, big family. Here in Grupo Elektra, we celebrate life. We think that rituals can be part of our community. So we make songs, follow our traditions, participate in sports, cultural, and environmental events, and by touching our communities. So we believe rituals creates a powerful, powerful freedom culture. So the conference is called, this webinar is called The 5 Secrets. So to explain the evolution of our group, I want to share 5 secrets, but I don't believe there are secrets. I believe there are more experiences that may give you some ideas of how to run your business. So I will show you some photos where I'll share this experience, and I will ask Nisi to jump in with the slides, and you can see how this will be coming. So can you project, Nisi? Are you over there? So great. So Nisi is gonna run the slides. I will be talking, and you can see some of the things I'm talking about in the slides. So the first one, freedom needs a clear purpose and vision, but it takes time and dedication. We couldn't change the mindset just by saying, The first step was a key meeting, a crucial meeting of philosophical meeting. So we gathered the executive team in a retreat at the beautiful hacienda of my boss called Halmolonga. And here we reflected, analyzed, and thought together about our purpose and vision. We questioned ourselves, why we are doing what we are doing, what we care about, why we exist. We talk about identity, and we came out with a very inspiring purpose. In Grupo Salinas and in Grupo Elektra, we create inclusive prosperity. The overview of inclusive prosperity is that everybody wins, and that's what I love. Customers, employees, suppliers, communities, stakeholders. So it takes everybody included. So to make it part of the culture, once we started with these gatherings, we needed to repeat them constantly. You don't educate a kid just by saying, brush your teeth. You have to repeat it once and once again. So we repeated Halmolonga sessions 3 times a year. We have repeated Halmolonga sessions 22 times since the first one in 2016 when we started. At the beginning, we were 26 executives, and now we have grown to 120 executives. The 3-day retreat has a real balanced program, and this is what I like. In the morning, we manage the group agenda, and we share ideas, best practices, learning moments, and sometimes we invite distinguished personalities to do talks, such as Ishak Adises, Kevin Kelly, Clotaire Rappel, Jorge Valdano, and others. We talk about leadership and collaboration, and all together we decide the future of our company. Then it comes the afternoon, and this is the fun part. We play games and sports and participate in contests like MasterChef. We have built bicycles for the community. We talk about art, astronomy, and once we release a falcon into the wild. Seeing this falcon fly freely into the sky was for me very symbolic. I believe Halmolonga sessions has become part of our culture. And why is this? This is important because 3 main levels. Emotionally, everybody feels part of something bigger. Intellectually, we learn from others, and the groups makes very influential decisions for the whole organization. And the third one, it encourages powerful relations. We create connections, special bondings, and get to know and recognize values and talents from peers and others. So we believe time, space, and dedication for your organization purpose and vision is critical for your success. So let's move on to the second secret experience idea. You name it. I like this one. Freedom's needs open and clear communication. Communication is a key element in any organization, even for a family. It doesn't matter if it's small or big. In the WorldBlu principles, Traci highlighted as dialogue and listening. Let me explain it with an analogy, okay? Communication is like water. Water comes in many ways. Waves, drops, maybe it's a tsunami. Maybe it comes in a special way, like a river, cascade, ice, you name it. Anyway, The important thing is that you can't stop water. It moves. You can hold it. It will always find a way to come out, manifest. Think like it, humidity. Even in a pond, it starts to get rotten, smells, and attracts mosquitoes. In any company, small or big, you must treat communication as a water cycle. The most important part is not creating messages, but listening. So you may wonder, how you hear 80,000 employees? Well, we created a system of 3 channels where people are freely to talk about anything. And I'm going to explain a little bit each one of these. The first one is Cuéntanos. Tell us about. This channel is used to share anything from personal thoughts, family situations, how you feel about your work, or if you need help or something is happening to you in particular, because we care about our employees' life. Health, achievements, doubts, concerns, anything. Yearly, imagine that. We received more than 10,000 cuéntanos in Grupo Elektra. The second channel, Honestel, the honesty line. It is in this one, we are looking to protect our company and our people. It's like the call to action in airports or London's underground. If you see something, say it, sort it. We are focused about anything that can hurt, damage, or affect you or your company or our company. You can freely point it out with a strict confidentiality. Yearly, we investigate more or less than 2,000 complaints. The third channel. Here we invite people to participate with ideas for improving our process, products, systems, or any other thing that they see we can do better. Last year, we received over 50,000 ideas. All of these channels are 100% answered in the first contact in 24 hours. And then they have follow-ups, and each one has their own process. So we believe dialogue and active listening with your people will take you to the next level. Let's come with the number 3. I think I'm on time, right? The third secret, experience, idea. Freedom's needs great leadership. Leadership is the driving force to get people live the culture of any company. We know employees don't leave companies, they leave managers, right? You have heard this once and once, and Gallup say it, everybody say it. Employees don't leave companies, they leave managers. So leadership moves people forward or it holds it down. So if you move people forward to achieve their best self and feel their self-worth, then you are on the right path. There are so many leadership styles and skills, but there are some things that are common in great leadership. I'm going to share 4th. They are looking passionately to reach their goals. Obviously, in the framework of your values and your principles, you cannot reach your goals going over the people. The second one that they have is self-knowledge of their own skills and talents, and use them wisely to become decision makers in their own fields. The third one is they are truthful and have strong integrity. And they all understand the last one, that is my favorite, the one I love more. They all understand the value of team members. They know anything that they have achieved or accomplished only have happened because they have a great team behind them. Leader cannot exist without a team. We see leadership not like a wolf pack with a leader going, the wolf alpha going in front. For us, it's more like the migrating birds, like swans, like geese, who travel in V form, and they alternate their guidance to the one who is in the better position to lead. In Grupo Elektra, everyone can be a leader depending on the circumstances. So we question ourselves, in this situation, in this problem, who has the best skill to solve this? Who can take the job done? Who has the most influence in this matter? And he will become the leader. So we believe knowing your people's gifts, skills, and talents helps you discover great leaders. Now, let's go to the fourth secret. Freedom always comes with responsibility. In Grupo Elektra, we believe you have the talents and skills to get the job done. That's the reason why we hire you. We hire professionals. We hire people who can do the job. They're adults, not childs and teenagers to point them out how to do things. You train, but you don't say how to do it. Here, you're free to decide the best way to be successful. But remember, freedom is a two-sided coin. And in one side, you have freedom, and in the other one is responsibility. Now, the question is always, how do you make people be responsible in an 80,000 employees company? How to make them accountable? Our mantra is always, what is not measured cannot be improved. We like to measure everything and share the results with the organization. I will give you 3 examples, right? Goals. Everyone decides with their leaders their goals, and they acknowledge them. All employees know what they need to achieve, and they can see and track daily, weekly, and monthly if they are reaching their goals or if they are behind. The second thing we like to measure is happiness and well-being. We ask employees how they feel, if they are happy, proud, if they believe they have growing opportunities, and other things. Then we share the results. And this enables everyone to see how you or your team and your company came out. It also gives everyone an opportunity to recognize their strengths, but also to put on work on those areas that you may be lacking to pursue. Another thing we measure is leadership. We invite people to evaluate their leaders, and with this tool, we help leaders to discover their strongest and weakest topics. In Grupo Elektra, we evaluate yearly 6,000 leaders. So this is the clue. Accountability and transparency are key to let people decide freely how to work. Let's go to the fifth secret, experience, idea. Promoting innovation will help you develop a freedom at work culture. In the book, How Innovation Works, Matt Riley wrote, innovation is the child of freedom and the parent of prosperity. In Grupo Elektra, we are always talking about the virtuous cycle that is the driving force behind prosperity. Freedom, innovation, and competition. If your workplace has a freedom culture, then you enable the environment and conditions for people to innovate. This allows anyone in the organization to imagine, create, have ideas, and be able to make them true. We believe people are responsible for their success. It's their choice. In this environment of free competition, it is inevitable that other companies will copy your ideas and other teams, but it also forces you and your people to continue to innovate and be better. You create something, competition arises, and then you must improve. This is a prosperity cycle, and you need to be open to it. Any employees decides the way of doing things, their options, and their possibilities. So we believe people who have the will to make things better encourage freedom, innovation, and prosperity. So making a review to become a freedom-centered company, we talk about mindset, we talk about leadership, we talk about the spirit. In mindset, I will tell you, if you want to keep these ideas, please, people makes a company successful. It's always about people. In leadership, if I could have some idea for you to share, is leaders are at the services of their team. For me, that's clue for becoming a freedom culture. And the last, you say design, but I'm going to talk about the spirit of Ubuntu. Rituals creates a powerful freedom culture and make the glue of the culture in your organization. I think that's the end of my presentation. I hope you like it. Thank you for your time. You can download my presentation with this QR if you want to share it. And there are my social media and my mailing if you want to write me or anything. Tracy?
Wonderful, Adriana. Oh my gosh, that was just like, I felt so relaxed too, listening to you and hearing all of these ideas and so energized. Beautiful how you put it together. Are you sitting there nodding your head going, I want to work in a culture like this? That was so inspiring. And I love how you talked about your purpose too, your purpose of inclusive prosperity, having that clear purpose and vision, having the right mindset, having the Ubuntu spirit, which I'm glad you touched on it. It's one of the attributes of a freedom-centered leader. So, where do we go from here? How can you also achieve, if it interests you, how to be a freedom-centered leader yourself, whether you're leading yourself as a solopreneur, you're leading a team, or you're building a multi-million or multi-billion-dollar company. How can you achieve this too? Would you like to know? Would you like to know? I hope you do. Let me show you how. All right. Well, anyone who wants to learn how to achieve this for themselves, our vision at WorldBlu is to see 1 billion people working in freedom. 1 billion people working in freedom. We want to transform the way leaders lead. And so if you sign up with us today, we're going to give you a leadership assessment valued at $49. We're going to give you our ebook, a 50 best practices culture toolkit of things you can immediately apply in your own team, valued at $150. And we're going to give you access to our Freedom at Work Leadership and Growth Accelerator, which we usually charge about $3,500 a person to be a part of this and actually teach you how to do all of this and get the kind of results that we see with our clients, which is helping them grow on average 700% greater revenue growth compared to the S&P 500. And also what they're seeing at Grupo Elektra. Look at that turnaround. They're now an $8 billion company. Freedom is the recipe for growth, inner growth, and outer growth in your organization. Total value of this, if you sign up with us today, all these free bonuses are almost $3,700. So we have at WorldBlu 3 membership levels I want to tell you about. The first membership level is our leader membership. It's open to any leader, anyone who wants to master leading with freedom over fear for a breakthrough life. Our second membership level is our entrepreneur membership level. And this is open to anyone who's an entrepreneur or solopreneur with anywhere from 1 to 9 employees. If you have fewer than 9 employees, also committed to leading yourself and others with freedom over fear. And our last level is our CEO level, and this is open to visionary CEOs with 10 or more full-time employees committed to leading their companies with freedom over fear. Okay, so how does it work? Like, what does it actually take to succeed in this way? Well, let me tell you all about it. So what do you need to succeed? We've been at this for 27 years, if you can believe it. Yes, I started my company when I was 5, just kidding. But what does it take to succeed? And again, for those of you who joined us late, we've worked with leaders and companies in over 100 countries now. We know what it takes to succeed at this. And let me show you what it takes. So first of all, it takes that mindset and leadership training. At WorldBlu, we have an incredible platform where we have over 100 top freedom-centered leadership courses and certifications available. So this is not just generic leadership training. This is actually equipping you with the skills and tools of a freedom-centered leader. Finding your purpose for your life, knowing your self-worth, knowing your Ubuntu spirit, knowing how to set healthy boundaries, knowing how to have personal accountability, like Adriana was talking about. We teach you how to do all of that. And I want to just show you how this breaks out. So when you become a member, you're going to get, as I talked about, that leadership assessment valued at $49, the best practices toolkit, the growth accelerator, and our Freedom at Work, our Freedom Centered Leader courses and certifications, which is usually valued at $3,500 across all 3 of our leadership membership levels. Next, you're going to also need live coaching, right? So it's not just going and taking a course. If you want to take courses, you don't have to. But what about having a coach who's with you? I coach my Miranda, other people on my team. We all coach people to be top leaders. And when you become a member with us, you also are going to get live coaching every single week. You jump in, jump out whenever you need us. We are here. And that's valued at about $52,000 a year. I charge usually $1,000 an hour just to coach. And so you're going to get weekly coaching from me or one of our master coaches every single week if you'd like it. You're also going to get access to masterminds. Now, typically a mastermind is something you only get to be a part of if you're a CEO or maybe an entrepreneur. But something we do really differently at WorldBlu is that we believe that everyone should have access to being a part of a mastermind where you really can learn from fellow peers how to be a better leader. And so when you become a leader with us, you get access to either a leader, a CEO, or an entrepreneur mastermind with other top members from all over the world who are part of WorldBlu. That's valued at about $60,000 a year. You typically cannot get in a good mastermind for less than $60,000 a year. We also have included with our membership energizing live events. We have our Freedom at Work Summit coming up in Miami, the end of February, for example, February 28th and 29th. Adriana is going to be speaking at it. We're so excited to have her there. We have leaders coming in from all over the world. And as a leader member, you get access to discounted tickets with us to these incredible live events that we do. And that is valued starting at about $1,997. All right, you're also going to get our exclusive WorldBlu network. As you can imagine, people who are members of WorldBlu are very positive, excited people who want to grow, who care about personal development, who care about being better leaders, who care about starting their companies on the right foot, or who care about transitioning their companies and not flounder around forever saying, how do we do this? But actually tapping into the wisdom and knowledge that we have to really get you there. And to be a part of a network like this, really is valued at least $10,000. I don't know how you put a price tag on it because the connections you make, the friendships that people have that have lasted for years and years that we've seen at WorldBlu, it's very special. All right, we also have that for our entrepreneur and CEO members, sometimes you need a little bit more because you're building a company. Now, they're also going to get access to our Lead with Freedom program. This is our mindset and leadership program for your team. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're saying, well, great, Traci, I love this, but I want my members of my team to also know how to lead this way, we have got you covered with our Lead with Freedom program. And that's valued at about $10,000 plus from there. And we also have access to our Grow with Freedom program. I'm so excited about this. This program teaches CEOs what the systems and processes are of running your company on freedom-centered rather than fear-based tactics. We heard Adriana share many of their systems and processes that they have put in place to build a freedom-centered culture. Well, we have curated literally hundreds of the very top and put together a program that shows you how to implement those. So you're not floundering around going, I don't know, how do I do a town hall meeting? How do I create a purpose and vision for my company? How do I democratize the way we do bonuses? How do I make sure I know how to hire for a freedom center culture? We teach you how to do all of that if you're an entrepreneur or CEO member. And that's valued at about $60,000 or more. So our CEO members are also going to get one additional thing that's so important, actually two things when you think about it. They're going to get access to our Freedom at Work scorecard. This is, like Adriana says, if you don't measure it, you're not going to be able to know how to improve it. So as far as I know, we're the only company in the world that's developed a very rigorous tool that allows you to measure the level of freedom and democracy in your company. We have it in 13 languages. So our CEO members with 10 or more employees are going to get that scorecard included with their membership. And depending on where their scores come out, they can also get certified as a freedom-centered organization, which is exactly what Grupo Elektra did. They took the scorecard. Congratulations to them. They hit the very high standard that it takes to get certified. And now they're a certified freedom-centered organization. So all of this, putting it all together, what is it worth? Well, as a leader member, the total value of this package is over $131,000. The entrepreneur package is over $200,000 of value. And the CEO membership is over $231,000 of value. Now, don't worry, we're not going to charge you that much, but I want you to see the tremendous value that you get when you become a member of WorldBlu. Two of my favorite stories, one's Gary Turner, just a fabulous guy in England, has become a dear friend of mine. He came to one of our live trainings a number of years ago and became a member of WorldBlu, and it was just life transforming. He says WorldBlu membership is nothing short of life changing. It's for anyone who wants to move away from fear-based command and control leadership to positive high growth leadership. And he's just seen such a change in his life as a result. Also, Kara Conley, she's a vice president of a company here in the US. She's one of our leader members. And she says, without a doubt, I'm now a better leader because of my WorldBlu membership. I'm not only a better leader at work, I'm a better friend, spouse, and parent as a result. And that's what we've seen is that when people become members of WorldBlu, it really changes them, it transforms them from the inside out, and it impacts not just their professional life, but their personal life in a positive way as well. What have we seen for our entrepreneurial members? Well, Nathan Donaldson, the CEO of Boost, he says in just 1 year, we grew over 64% from 1.4 million to over 2.3 million, and turnover, meaning people who leave, dropped from 40% down to 20% because of being a member of WorldBlu. So really started to see that bottom line impact leading this way. This is a really cool member that we have. They had already built an incredible Freedom Center company. They got certified. We helped them build it called DreamHost. And then they wanted to spin off another company. And I talked earlier about how important those systems and processes are. They have to be democratic. When you know what they are, it kind of gives you the cheat sheet for how you can build your company in a Freedom Center way even faster. And so they were able to take those democratic systems and processes at DreamHost and apply them to their spinoff company, which took it from zero to $175 million sale in just 24 months. How many of you would like to see these kinds of results for your company, right? I bet you would. All right, and again, at WD-40, this is a large publicly traded company, so we can do this work in small to very large companies, just like Grupo Elektra. Well, at WD-40, their CEO, incredible guy, Gary Ridge, came in and he says, we're building a Freedom Center company. Their sales quadrupled and their market cap increased from $250 million to over $2 billion just because of their membership in WorldBlu and doing what we have asked and shown them how to do to create incredible results. Do you want these kind of results for your company? Maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you're growing, or maybe you're thinking about turning it around, or maybe you're just a member of the team that wants to be a better leader. Do you want these kind of results? Doesn't this sound awesome? I think it does, as you can tell. I get excited. So if all this did was help advance your career and made you an invaluable leader, would membership be worth it? I hope so. If our membership got your team to make great, profitable decisions, would it be worth it? If our membership accelerated growth in your company, would it be worth it? If it helped you be more confident, fearless, and joyful as a leader, would it be worth it? If it created a culture that everyone loved, that attracted and retained very top talent, would it be worth it? And if it made you $7 for every dollar you invested, where you're essentially building your own ATM machine, would it be worth it? I think so. So we had two choices when we were building our WorldBlu membership. Our option one was we could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many memberships as possible, but it really wouldn't incentivize us to really deliver value and meaningful transformation. Or option two requires a slightly higher investment, but in exchange, we can devote more resources to help guarantee your success. We went with option two. So, what is this all worth to you? Having that personal transformation, living a life from freedom rather than fear, and building your company this way. Well, as you can see, this is everything you get with our membership. And I talked about it's worth, gosh, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to get all of these benefits. If you were to buy them a la carte, it would cost you so much money. But what we're doing at WorldBlu is we're offering our leader membership not for $131,000, but for just $41 a month, or about $497 a year, with a $150 initiation fee. Our entrepreneur membership isn't over $200,000. We're offering it for just $250 a month, or $2,997 a year, with a $900 initiation fee. We want to build more Freedom Center companies and change our world for the better. And we want entrepreneurs with small businesses, meaning fewer than 9 or fewer employees. We want to get you started on the right foot. We want to teach you this, and this is how we can do it. And our CEO membership is not $230,000, but it's only $416 a month, or about $5,000 a year, with a $1,500 initiation fee. So now you have two choices. You can take option one, do nothing, and not take the steps to grow, which is, of course, 100% risk-free, doesn't change anything in your life. Or you can go with option two, make a small investment today compared to all the value you will get in return, and just go for it. I hope you'll go for it. You can get started now. Miranda's going to be dropping in chat the links to our 3 different membership forms, or you can go straight to worldblu.com and see where you can sign up as a member today. We do offer a 30-day guarantee. If you don't like your membership for any reason, all you have to do is email us. We won't ask any questions. Just let us know and we will give you your money back. That is how confident we are in what we do at WorldBlu and the kind of results we can get you over the long term. So again, you can see everything, plus our 3 bonuses at the top here. We're also going to throw in our leadership assessment so you can see, are you a Freedom Center leader or a fear-based leader? Our 50 best practices culture toolkit, our Freedom at Work leadership and growth accelerator. Now, you don't have to do all of this, but it's available to you as a member of WorldBlu. And we are here to help you become absolutely the best leader you can be, build the best team possible and the best company possible. We all know the world has way too much fear going on. We need to advance freedom in the world, and that's what we're here to do. So Again, your investment for a leader membership is only $497 a year. For our entrepreneur membership, about $3,000 a year, and for our CEO membership, about $5,000 a year. But for the first 50 people who sign up with us to be members, we are going to waive the initiation fee to be a member of WorldBlu. So what that means is we're going to waive that $150 initiation fee. We're going to waive that $900 initiation fee if you want to be an entrepreneur member. And we're going to waive that $1,500 initiation fee if you want to be a CEO member to the first 50 people who sign up with us. But for the very first 10 people who sign up with us, we're going to offer you something extra special. I'm going to give you 1 hour of top coaching with me, valued at $1,000 an hour. That's usually what I charge when I work with CEOs. The first 10 people, whether you're a leader member, an entrepreneur, or a CEO member, I will do a one-on-one coaching call with you. We'll talk about your life, we'll talk about your business, and we'll talk about strategy and how to help you move forward. So again, that's for our first 10 people who sign up to be a member with WorldBlu. So I invite you to become a member of WorldBlu today at worldblu.com. Freedom Center leader, entrepreneur, or CEO member, that's what's available to you. When you go to our homepage, you're going to see right on the homepage our 3 different membership levels. You can click on one of those 3 buttons and it'll take you right to our short and sweet registration page. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes to complete. And we'll get you all set up, and we'd be so honored and delighted to welcome you to our community as a member of WorldBlu.
Traci, thank you very much, WorldBlu, you, Miranda, and all the people that join us today, because the time is one of the most valuable things that somebody gives you. Thank you very much. We are so excited to be part of the WorldBlu community, and see you in Miami.
We can't wait. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll be in touch. Have a wonderful Freedom Center day. Bye for now.